Welcome to episode 54 of the Milk Making Minutes. Are you frustrated with your milk output while pumping? Are you using one of the two standard sizes that came with your double electric breast pump? Probably the 24 millimeter or the 28 millimeter. If so, this is the episode for you, because probably you need to do a sizing. And if you do that sizing, you will probably discover that you need a different size. So let's get into it. When I began breastfeeding, I was blindsided by how difficult it was. I may have thought I was prepared, but having known only a handful of people who had ever breastfed and only seeing it up close from a couple of them, I had a huge learning curve. Since then, I've become a doula, a lactation consultant, and a childbirth educator. I'm your host, Lo Nigrosh, and I welcome you to the Milk Making Minutes, where we explore breastfeeding experiences through the lens of systemic barriers, so that you know your breastfeeding struggles are not your fault and your triumphs really are the miracles you feel they are. Why do I say you probably need to do a different size? Well, those standard sizes, 24 millimeter and 28 millimeter, those weren't determined by anything. Pump companies just decided that 24 and 28 millimeter were the standard sizes to send in pumps. And there's really no evidence to support that those are the sizes that people should be using. And it turns out that once IBCLCs started really working with their clients to properly fit and measure them, the vast majority needed smaller sizes. They felt way more comfortable while pumping, and they were getting a bigger milk output. So let me tell you what we're looking for when you're doing this. So the vast majority of people need a size that is smaller than the 24 or the 28 millimeter. And this is surprising to most people that I talk to, because most people that I talk to, when I'm talking to them about flange sizes, their breasts have increased in size and their breasts seem so large that they think, oh my gosh, I must need a huge flange size. And often they are using the biggest one. And in fact, many people are told by the IBCLC at the hospital to use the 28 millimeter. But this is wrong, because the flange sizing has very little to do with your breast size and way more to do with your nipple diameter and the comfort of the flange when you're using it and your milk output. And what will happen is, if you are using a flange size that is too big, the areola will start to swell and it will look like your nipple is rubbing against the side of the tunnel. And then you will think, oh my gosh, this phalange is too small. I need a bigger size. And then many people will go up in size instead of going smaller. And then milk output decreases. It feels really uncomfortable. And it's a vicious cycle, when really you should be going down in size. So in order to do a sizing, you need to make sure you have not pumped recently. It's really helpful to do this with an IBCLC because it's hard to kind of look at yourself when you're pumping to see. And this can be done virtually. So if you are looking for someone to help you to determine what size you need, I would love to do this with you. And so what you can do is you try out the different sizes. So you might start with the 24 and you look and see, and you don't want any areola coming into the tunnel at all. And in fact, you want to use a little bit of food grade lubricant on the nipple, like olive oil or coconut oil. So you put that on the nipple, and you want just a tiny bit of nipple rubbing. We used to say no nipple rubbing, but now you want just a tiny bit of nipple rubbing. And with a tiny bit of nipple rubbing and that food grade lubricant, it will feel much more like a very good latch from a baby, and you will see your milk supply increase significantly. So if there is space between the nipple and the side of the tunnel, you know you probably need to go down. So try that 24. If there's any amount of space, go down to the next size. After 24 is 21. So you'll try the 21 millimeter. If the 21 millimeter is too small, you'll go down to the 18 millimeter. If there's any amount of space between the nipple and the side of the tunnel, then you'll go down to the 15 millimeter. The vast majority of people are somewhere in between the 13 and 21 millimeter flange when we size them properly. Most people do not fit into the 24 and 28 standard sizes. It's mind-blowing. And once they get properly sized, most people feel way more comfortable, and they will see an increase in their milk output when they're using the pump. Of course, you still have to pump at regular intervals and use your pump settings properly. If you would like to have a phalange sizing or a lactation consultation, I can bill your insurance, or I can provide you with a super bill if I'm not able to bill your insurance directly, so that you can get reimbursed. And you can find me at quabbinbirthservices.com. If you want to know more about my episodes that I have regarding pumping, I will put those episodes in the show notes so you can click on them right now. And please join my Milk Making Minutes community group on Facebook. This is where we talk about why there are so many barriers to feeding our babies human milk and try to make it better. I'll see you there.